Hello, everyone. I hope you survived this weekend. I had a fun time. It was a little shambly. I was not shambly. There were shambles around me. But regardless, it was a really fun time. Actually, I don't think shambles would be the proper word. I would more describe it as a very varied, that's VERYVARIED, a very varied assortment of characters were at me throughout the weekend, were around me throughout the weekend, and it was just a really good time. So before we get into the movie review for today's video, which I think it might be controversial. Don't hate me. But we'll get into that in a sec. You already know what the movie is because it's probably in the title. But my thoughts on it, we'll see. The point is, the three things that I did this weekend that were of note. So first, on Friday, I went to, how would I describe this? It's like a cabaret show. So people are singing like show tunes live. So think of it like live performances, but not like a musical where everything connects together in one story. It's more just this person sings this song that they like from this musical, and then the next performer sings this song that they like from this musical, that kind of thing. But it was a cabaret show with a twist because they were all drag queens. Every single one. So it was really fun, very entertaining. The very stereotypical drag queen humor was there. So it's a little punchy, it's a little sassy, it's a little hit you in the face a bit, but it's not like stand-up comedy where well, sometimes they do. I was going to say sometimes they make fun of people in the audience, like a little bit of crowd work. That's a term I learned recently. Okay, drag queens do that sometimes. But luckily, I was not the one that was the butt of the joke. So, anywho, it was a really cool show because, well, drag performances are awesome and usually are fun and or funny. But with this, it was interesting because they were all talented and can actually sing. So, like, you were enjoying the, I don't know, drama of it all, of a drag show, but then they'd like break out into a Les Mis number and you're like, what is going on? You can sing. This is wild. So anyway, that was the first thing. Super fun. Secondly, I went to like a museum's like adult oriented, like after hours things, like when the museum closed, and I went with some of my closest friends. Anywho, so after the museum closes, they like do something for the adults instead of it being like a museum oriented toward kids normally, or maybe like families go with their kids. They shut it down, meaning the normal hour, so the normal closing hour occurs, and then they reopen it like an hour later for people 21 and up. And it was just really cool getting to, I don't know, walk around, enjoy the exhibits without any of these kids running around. And you feel guilty when you want to do the rock climbing wall, but then there's a 6-year-old who wants to do the rock climbing wall. You're like, let me get out the way. Anywho, so it's really cool to go to the museum after hours, and that was fun. And then the last thing that was of note from this weekend, since this is a life update, the last thing of note was, what is it? Oh, I remember. Oh, I'm going to call it, this seems a little wild, but you know, I'm just being transparent with you all. Let me know if it's your jive or if you would just never go to something that is called this. But I went to a warehouse party. And long story short, it's pretty much just a DJ in an elevated space with a larger stage than a normal club, with a higher budgeted lighting situation, like production lights, like lights in the ceilings that move a lot. So like a very nice nightclub has high production value lighting. A warehouse party sometimes has even more lighting production situation going on. So anywho, but it's very similar to a nightclub where there's a DJ, music, bar, but just a lot bigger, and you get more of that feeling of like zzz, 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 zzz. Anywho, great time. So went to a warehouse party. Now it's not like a weird, like scary warehouse party where it's like you have to know someone and it's like creepy a bit. No, this was like a ticketed event, of course. Eventbrite, come through. So anywho, went to that. That was also a great time. So those were the three activities or events that made my weekend a little different than the weekend before. But now that I've done that, yeah, let's jump into the movie review. Thank you for listening to my life update. Hope you had a fun weekend, or if you're kind of a stay-at-home kind of person, I hope you recharged appropriately and made it just a little bit farther on your favorite TV shows. So Today we're reviewing An Officer and a Gentleman. It came out, I don't remember, but let's say 1980X. That's a variable, like in algebra. So 1980X is when An Officer and a Gentleman came out, and it's about the son of a Navy enlisted person, I think, being selected. Yeah, that sounds about right. Being selected to go to officer candidate school in the Navy, and just his experience of like having to push through mental hurdles, like his own personal hurdles, and I guess physical hurdles. So all of that's to say, that's the plot. I think he falls in love. Does he? I don't even remember. I did watch it, by the way, but I watched it a couple weeks ago, once again. The point is, there's two female love interests. One turned out to be, I think, he falls in love, and they end up happy or whatever. And then there's his main friend, his best friend's love interest. So anywho, that's mainly the plot. It's them going through officer candidate school and running into different hurdles, and eventually the protagonist, the main guy, graduates. I know, big spoiler. He graduates and he becomes a naval officer. Who knew? So now, to get to the point. Now, An Officer and a Gentleman, I'm pretty sure is like regularly included in the canon of military movies that are like known by the general populace. Like, if you kind of sort of know military movies, or at least throwback military movies, you probably have heard of Officer and a Gentleman. Now, if you are someone who is not really obsessed with military movies, should you watch An Officer and a Gentleman? You know, I don't know. I'm going to say save your time. Now, if you are someone, let's say you're going to OCS. That's exciting. That would be cool. Maybe you should watch it. Maybe. If you're joining the Navy, maybe you should watch it. If you're going to any officer training program, maybe you should watch it. I don't know. But it was a little slow at times. And again, if you've been paying attention, everyone, what I use to say if I should recommend the movie or not is, do I feel slightly remorseful that I gave up my 2 hours for that film? And looking back at Officer and a Gentleman, I slightly feel like I want my time back. So I don't know if you should allocate your time to that movie. So that's it. That's my take. I would say skip it. Eventually, we're just going to have an aggregated list of the ones that were actually recommended, you know? Like we did last week on Friday. What was it? It was Tom Hanks' Greyhound. That is a great movie, so maybe watch it. But Officer and a Gentleman, we're just going to skip it. I'm going to say allocate your time to something better. Maybe play Sudoku. I don't know. Do a Wordle. Maybe take a nap. That's up to you. That's not my business. But if you do watch the movie and have different thoughts, let me know if it moved you. You know, just really inspired greatness within you. And secondly, let me know if you watched it, and 2, if you loved it, why, and 3, if you just agree with me. But that's it. That's all I got. As always, if you got any book recommendations, drop them below. If you see anyone who's read a book that you've already read, feel free to let that person know if you liked it or not. Have a conversation. I will jump in when I can. I probably should get home and jump into some of these comment sections. Ha! But hope you're all well. Happy Monday. Talk soon, and goodbye.